Hi, it's Technology Laura, and I'm going to talk to you about make a big splash with your student. So let's get started. Thank you to Slides Mania for these templates. You can also follow along at that TinyURL link, and then all my tech links are found right there. So the first thing I think to highlight is to have your Bitmoji on all of your slides. My students will love to see a different Bitmoji of me every day when they come into the classroom, and you can add that by having it on a Chrome extension. So I have it right here, and I just find the Bitmoji that I want. And another tech tip is if you type the word pose, you're going to get your Bitmoji without text. So that's always really fun to do. So here we go. Here's our agenda. So I'm going to go through all of these tech tools. Hopefully you will find them both engaging and student driven. So this is Pear Deck, and one way that you can integrate Pear Deck is to have some of their slides on your Google slide presentation. So these are their templates. This is just circle how you're feeling, and that's an opportunity for your students to say they're happy, mad, sad, etc. And I find that some of my students who are not engaged to actually participate with this because they might not feel as embarrassed if they're not having to share out in the whole class. And this gives you quick data points of how they're feeling. And then another SEL check would be their stress check, and then the students drag the icon based on how they're feeling. So one of these tools that I'm going to talk about right now is Mentimeter. And so this is free. And how you can integrate this in your classroom is to give your students the unique code once you create your Menti. And then you could ask a warm-up question. You could ask a get-to-know-you question. You could have your students do a word cloud. And I really like this because you can have your students answer in various formats, such as polls, question and answer, one by one, word cloud, and it's all live participant data. So it's super easy to use. And here's another Pear Deck, and that's a easy way that you can do electronic worksheet. So you have your students drag lines to match vocabulary, and this is just a Spanish example with colors. For elementary people, I think this would be pretty easy because they're typing letters for common words like cat, bat, and rat, and that works on their spelling. So if you like Pear Deck, I highly recommend use it. So it's really easy to add onto your Google Slides. So you would just go to slides.new. Under add-ons, click Pear Deck, add Pear Deck. It's going to be for free, and then you're going to see that an icon is a little green pear, and then on the right-hand side, you're going to see the template library, and you'll be able to add those Pear Deck slide templates for free to your already existing Google Slides, which is awesome, just like I have done for this presentation. So next, Quizlet Live. I really like this because this gets my students moving up and around the classroom. So you find your vocabulary, and then you project your Quizlet Live code. You can have your kids compete individually or by teams. I find that they really get excited and competitive with the team mode. And then Quizlet will divide all of your students into different animal names, and it's based on speed and accuracy. So it's no opt-out. The kids have to participate, and they'll all have the questions on all their devices, but different players will have different answers. So they have to work together, and then if they miss a question for their team, they have to go back to zero. So that is super fun to use. Now Quizzies, I have used this for a couple different things, and I'm going to share with you that now. I use this for live, team, and test mode. So live is when I'm teaching in the classroom, and I can see how well my students are doing. It's projecting the entire class accuracy, and then my students get immediate feedback how they're doing. They also have meme features, which I think is really fun for middle school. And then if I want to do the test mode, that will actually grade it for me, and then I'll get a question by question breakdown of how all my students in my class are performing, question by question. And then you can also do for review, so you can assign that on your Google Classroom, and then the students can practice as many times as they need to for a better grade. And I like this because they're continuously evolving their EdTech company. They have daily SEL checks. They have lesson modes where it's very interactive. They have a nickname generator feature now for the students when they log into their quizzes. They have the memes, I already mentioned that. So it's super engaging and fun, and I find the kids are very involved when we are using this Edtech tool. So Flipgrid, it's now rebranded and named Flip. And I love this tool because it's a way to empower student voice and choice. So one way I really use Flipgrid is I give the students Play-Doh, and then they have to talk on Flip about the learning while creating something with Play-Doh. So it's powerful practice for the visual learners because they are able to create something and then talk about their learning. If they don't want to use the Play-Doh, which 99% of the time they do, it's also good like for kids if they're having anxiety or stress because they like to hold something. Their creativity and originality is just awesome with this because I just see so much of their creativity through the use of Flip and Play-Doh. I've also had my students use whiteboards to reteach the lesson with Flip. So they're basically explaining what we learned in their own terms on Flip. And then you can project the videos or you can watch them later. So name generators, this is how they call on students. There is many different options for this. Some teachers use popsicle sticks. I like these because they're very engaging. So depending on which one you like, you just import your class list. And then once you hit send, all of your students' names will randomly be projected on the screen. I think this is important because this is ensuring that all students are being called on equally, so it's really good for quality. You're not being biased by only calling on the kids with their hands up or the kids who always want to talk or whatnot. Anyone is going to have to answer at any time. So I like that about the name generators. And then name of wheel, wheelofnames.com. This is really fun for prizes. You can insert math facts questions. You also could do your morning greeting like shake hands, dance party, give your neighbor a high five, give your neighbor a compliment. And then you can also do your random name generators. And I could see teachers using this to randomly put groups together with the Wheel of Names. Again, all for free. So here's just some of the implementation that I've done this with these name generators for the warm-up. I call on the students this way. For the exit ticket, the same. For partner work, I'll just put the name generator up, and students will be placed in various pairs based off the name generator. If I need volunteers for speeches, we just use the name generator, so I'm being fair. Online timers. So I think it's really important to have timers in your lesson pacing and structure. There's a couple different ideas I'm going to talk about. One is inserting a video from YouTube on your Google Slides like I have right here. So how do you do that? You go to Insert, go down to Video, go to YouTube, and then you would type in silent timer for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you insert that on your slide. So that's really helpful for you to stay on point with your lesson, and the kids also know how long they have to complete the task. If you don't want to do the YouTube timer embedded on your slideshow, you can also go to these two that I've highlighted, and there's kind of fun timers there that you might like, and it really instills urgency within the classroom setting. And again, those are just some ways that I've implemented the timers. There's a little screenshot of the online stopwatch. So it gets the kids excited with the fun timers. So brain break, let's talk about that. I think teaching virtually and then having a hybrid classroom, it's really important for all grade levels and contents to have a brain break. So regardless of what you're teaching, if you give yourself and students a break, it could be at the end of class, the beginning of class, halfway, and they can use Go Noodle, which I like because the videos are already on the website and they're all free. And I feel that this really boosts productivity, improves behavior, and it builds community. Now, I will say with this, it is best implemented if you're doing this on a regular basis and you're also excited about it. So the kids are going to feed off the energy of the teacher. So if you get pumped up, they're more likely to get pumped up. But if you are disengaged, they might not be as engaged with their brain break. So highly recommend Go Noodle for brain breaks. And then with Pear Deck Template, you could do a stretch break. If you're not comfortable with the dance video, you could just do a stretch break in the classroom as well. Now Kahoot. This is one of my students' absolute favorite tools year after year. And so I'm going to highlight some features that maybe you're not sure about or have heard of. The first one is ghost mode. So after you have played a Kahoot, and if your students are performing poorly or you want them to do it again, you would just hit play again and you will see a bunch of ghosts with all of their names. And so they'll just play it again. And what I like about this is the same questions, yet the answers are in different order. So they're just still practicing, but it gives them another opportunity to perform better. And then the second feature of Kahoot is the nickname feature. So this eliminates silly or inappropriate names. So when the students are going to Kahoot.it, they usually type in whatever name they want. Well, with the nickname feature, Kahoot will generate a nickname, which is usually an animal like unicorn, lizard, leopard, and that's just kind of fun for the student. And then you will eliminate any of those misbehaviors in the classroom setting. Here are two free tools that are really easy to use, Notes.io and Sketch.io. So they're just free, basically online notepad and whiteboard if you're looking for an electronic version of paper and a whiteboard. Highly recommend. Word clouds is my next tech tool. So there are many different websites out there. I like worditout.com. It's really easy to use. There's my simple steps if you want to create them yourself as the teacher or have your students create them. I have taught this word cloud in every single grade, 5th through 8th, and the kids love it. So you would just click create and you would type in the words that you want to make your word cloud with, and then you click generate, and then you could screenshot your work, you could print your word cloud, or just have it embedded on your slides. Now, meme generator. Teaching middle school, I find that a really good lesson hook is to have a meme on your Google slideshow. So again, this might not be for every teacher, but I just wanted to show you this website where you can make free memes about the lesson, and I really do think it might spark inquiry with your student, depending on your personality, if you like that. Jeopardy Labs, I have another YouTube video solely on Jeopardy Labs, so I encourage you to check it out. But what I love about Jeopardy Labs is the template is already there for you as the teacher, so you don't have to spend all this time formatting, where the template is there, and then you're just inserting your questions and answers. Students can engage with this through their whiteboards, or they can play with their peers. They could also create these for review, which would be awesome to have your whole class led by the students with their Jeopardy. A sound management tool, this is really fun. I could see a lot of elementary teachers liking this. So bouncyballs.org is basically a free sound monitor website. And so you have to turn on your settings, the microphone, and you have choice whether you want the settings to be really low or high, and depending on your class, and then you project that on the board, and then if your class gets too loud based off your settings, it will say shh or be quiet. And so it's just kind of a way for the kids to monitor their own sound versus you. And then another slideshow template that I use with Paradex is just drag and drop how you're feeling. And so your students could say, keep going, I'm confused, stop, I need help. And then the students drag the icon, so you have quick data to see how they're doing. And then you can make a decision how to proceed forward based off their dot. Here are all the slide templates. Again, I'm using Slides Mania. She has wonderful free templates for teachers. There's just some ones that I think are awesome, but you could check out her website and see all of the amazing slideshows she has already created for teachers. Emoji generator, I have another YouTube video on this. This is how you could use emojis and instill love for creative writing for your student. So if you go to that website, you can hit random emoji generator, 5 emojis, 10, etc., and then open up a Google Doc and then have your students write an essay based off their emojis. Comics. These two websites, really easy to use. Make Believe comics and storyboard that. I love both of these. They're very user-friendly for students. I find that storyboard is really great for 7th and 8th graders, and then Make Believe Comic is pretty easy to use for 5th and 6th, but both awesome resources, especially for the visual learners. I picked text message. I have another video on my YouTube channel that talks about this resource. But I think this is really fun. The kids really get a kick out of this when they see a fake text message on the board. They can create these. Again, it is totally fake. They're not sending anyone any text whatsoever, but it just is a really strong lesson hook because it looks exactly like a text message. And there's some ways you can implement that in your classroom. And then part of the paradox slide. So I want to ask you, and you can put in the comments, are which websites do you think are going to be relevant for your class? What websites do you think you will enjoy? And then most importantly, what websites do you think your students will enjoy? And I hope you liked this presentation. Thank you very much. Here's my contact information. And again, shout out to Slides Mania for her awesome templates. Be sure to like and subscribe my channel for more EdTech tips. Thank you.